Hello, everyone. I am Liz Kosminski. I am the transaction coordinator with the Leverage Center here at Keller Williams Greater Metropolitan. And I kind of want to just talk to you guys and hopefully boost you up a little bit today, letting you know that, like, as newer agents, you don't have to have this all figured out to begin with. So I'm sure some of you feel overwhelmed, that you maybe don't know what you should be doing each and every day, what systems you should be using to do that, and then like what leverage you have. And so hopefully I'll be able to help you through a lot of those, and when you leave, you'll feel a little bit better about what's available and what you can accomplish. So just kind of briefly, who am I? I grew up in Idaho. I moved to Ohio after I married my husband. We have 2 boys. I started in real estate in 2015. I was the transaction coordinator for a team. In 2017, I became licensed. I have never actually worked as an agent. I've always just been a licensed administrator. So I was on that team for 6 years, and then in 2021, I actually left the team and I became an independent transaction coordinator. So I work with whatever agents need that support. And over the course of my real estate career, so since 2015, I have done over 2,500 transactions. Thank you. Yes. So, first of all, I know that this probably feels kind of hard for you guys. It's a little bit overwhelming, especially at the beginning as you're trying to figure everything out. And I don't know about you guys, but do you guys ever have those days where you finish the day and you look back at it and you're like, I have no idea what I even did?
Yeah, that's yes. Any day ended in wash.
So honestly, I have them a lot too. So I have days where like the phone, it feels like the phone is ringing every 5 minutes, and when I get off the phone, I have to pick it up and call whoever I missed because I was on the phone. And all I'm doing is like putting out fires, like this settlement statement's wrong, and like the lender needs this document, the title company, all of those little things. And those are the days that like they get done, and I look back and I'm like, it's 5 o'clock, and I honestly have no idea what I actually accomplished. And it's not necessarily a time management problem, and it doesn't mean that you're not cut out for this. A lot of times just because you're trying to remember too many things and make too many decisions. And if you don't have the right support in your business to be able to do that, it just kind of, it leaves you feeling like you're rushing around from thing to thing to thing. So the reason why I'm able to get through all of this, and even on those days when my phone is ringing off the hook, I can still get everything done because I have systems in place. So I know that, I have checklists, so I know when I need to get the earnest money or follow up on the earnest money, confirm that everything's in command so that the agent's going to get paid when the deal closes. So all of these systems help me make sure I know that I'm getting done what I need to get done. And what those things are for me is different than what they are for you. So tell me, what are the things that you guys as agents do on a daily or semi-daily basis?
Follow up.
Mm-hmm.
Get into conversation.
Okay. What else?
Lead gen.
Anything else? This isn't everything that you do, I know.
Mm-hmm.
So what else? You said, yeah, what were you doing last night?
Research and learning and research.
Okay.
I think. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to remember your 5 the last time I was here. Mm-hmm.
We're getting there.
But not just the 5. what is everything?
Like, what about showings?
Yeah.
What about property research?
Social
What?
media posts.
Yeah, see, now we're like, oh, hold on. These are all the other things.
There's lots of things. I guess like calendar events, things like that. Kelsey was talking about doing popsicles in the park for.
Okay, so like client events?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Show up in the community.
FaceTime.
So, after you do this, after you do Legion, then you follow up, then what happens?
Sign appointment.
Okay, go on appointments.
Nice.
Get the agreement.
Some paperwork. We've got showings. You write contracts, right? Then what?
Coordinate with lenders, insurance, all that jazz.
For that,
Transaction coordination.
for that,
Yes.
you negotiate, right?
Yeah.
Then contract to close. Compliance and command. Do you guys ever put buyers on drips?
Smart plans and
Put listings
communication.
into the MLS?
That's the first thing I leverage. I realize 1 hour of Liz is a lot better than 3 hours of me back and forth at it, trying to squeeze it in. Leverage.
Can you explain the drips?
So a drip is kind of what it would call, so you would go into the MLS if you have a buyer, and the buyer says, I am interested in properties in Cleveland Heights that are between 250 and 400,000. So you would go in there, you would search up those properties, and then you can actually put them on an auto email. So every time, or once a day, or whatever the frequency is, a property shows up that fits their criteria, it will email them. So it's kind of dripping on them
Got
with
it.
those properties.
Reinvestment.
Like planned communication, like
Yep.
newsletters, educational emails.
Other marketing.
Collecting referrals after the closing is a really important part of your job, and a lot of the time we're on to the next. It's a really important part of our jobs.
What do you guys do Sunday afternoons? Maybe Saturday afternoons?
David, what are you doing this weekend?
Open houses.
Open
Yeah. I didn't think we're saying, I'm like, wait.
You're like, I don't know, what does she know that I don't know?
That we do all the time?
I don't actually have access to your calendar. Do you guys ever practice your scripts?
Mhm.
Yes.
Okay.
That's a pretty healthy job
It's a
description.
it's a big list. I'm like,
That's a
think
big
about half
list.
that a day, maybe.
Yes, so,
Half that.
Do you guys have all of that in your calendar every single day?
Yeah.
Cause I mean, how could you, right?
That'd be nice.
But it's all, are any of those not important?
It's all important.
So that's a lot of stuff to get accomplished.
Necessary.
and it's not that you guys aren't incapable of doing all of this, 'cause you are. But in any given day, all of this is competing for your attention. All of these little things that you think, you're driving and you think, oh, I need to, when I get parked, I need to, look this up in the MLS, or I need to send this document, or I need to send this text, or call this person. So all of this is pulling you in various directions. So the issue isn't actually that you need more time, you just need to figure out how to use your time. So in bold, we talk 5 money-making activities.
Yep.
Do you guys know what those are? No?
You said money?
Yeah, 5 money-making activities.
Here we
Lead
go.
generation.
Lead gen, follow
Follow
up.
up.
Learning and research?
You're like, where is it? Where?
Negotiations.
Oh, okay.
Appointments.
There it is, appointments, and then script and role play.
So that's what really needs to be in your calendar first, because that's the 80%. Excuse me, that's the 20% that's gonna give you
Yes.
80% of your business.
This is where your business actually grows and thrives and happens, is these 5 items. That doesn't mean that everything else isn't important, because it is. I think we just pointed out that all of that stuff also needs to happen. But those are the 5 things that you really need to focus on. And so the question for yourself is, when you get busy, which of those 5 things disappears? Which are the ones that are easy to say, oh, I'll do it later?
Practicing.
Running scripts, yeah.
I was gonna say, a lot of people walk away from the hardest one, which for them might be lead generation. So do not walk away from the things that make you money, to do the things that keep you busy.
Yes. Yeah. If you can easily fill your day with all of these other little things, and at the end of the day you look back and you say, what did I do? But if you didn't do your lead gen or your follow-up, it's really a what did I do? I didn't do anything. I didn't do anything productive, but I didn't do the most productive thing. So creating a system around, creating a system around all of this is a good idea. Creating a system around the things that you absolutely need to do should probably be the priority. Because the system doesn't have to tell you everything you're going to do today, it just needs to make sure the important things don't get forgotten. So the big thing about systems is it makes it so you don't have to try and remember everything. So I have three things I want to talk to you guys about when it comes to systems. So the first one is, when you create a system, your system will change. And that's a good thing, and that's fun. You build systems by doing things, not necessarily by figuring everything out beforehand. So the first time you go on a buyer consultation, that will teach you something. Your first listing you're gonna learn something. Your first transaction is going to teach you a lot. And the first system you build is going to be bad, and that's okay. Like, that's actually normal. And so just accept that and allow that to actually bring you comfort that you're not expected to create something perfect to begin with. Because what happens is you create a system and then you use it and it breaks, and you figure out what to do to improve it, and it gets better, and you use it, and then it breaks somewhere else. And so over time, your system is just going to get better and better. So I actually like to tell people that good systems are alive. They're growing, they're evolving. And when a system breaks, it actually just shows you where it needs to be improved.
What is a break in a system? How might I feel that, or how might that show up in my world?
So one of an example that I use a lot is, so I always make sure that the buyer gets the utility information. Like, this is the company for electric, this is the company for gas. etc. And for a long time, my system was I just had a list of each city and what utility companies they provided. And then we sold a property, and the property was actually, like, it was on one side of the street, and across the street was another city. And so I provided the buyers with the utility information for their city. And they called the utility company, and the utility company said, we don't service your city. And so they came back to me, and I figured out what happened was because they were just across the street from this other city, they actually used that city's utilities. So my system for providing utilities broke. It didn't work in that situation. So I pivoted, and what I do now is I actually always ask the seller or the listing agent who provides your utilities, so that I'm no longer telling them something when it's just based on their address when that's not accurate. So that was a system that broke and how I fixed it. There are other things. Wells Fargo does not have any branches in the Cleveland area. I believe the nearest Wells Fargo is a 3-hour drive from here. If you have a buyer who banks with Wells Fargo, Wells Fargo also doesn't allow online wire transfers. You have to go into their bank to wire the funds. So if you have a buyer who has moved to Cleveland or is moving to Cleveland and they bank with Wells Fargo, they have to plan ahead to wire the funds because they have to literally drive 3 hours to wire their funds. So this is another situation I've run into with a buyer who's like, we're on the road, had to call in, sick to work, but we'll make it, like, we'll get it done, but it's gonna take a while. The funds aren't gonna get wired for 3 hours. So now, in one of my intro emails, I put in a little paragraph with this notification. Please make sure before we get to closing that you know how to wire your funds and have access to it, so that it no longer becomes like a last minute thing. So it's just those little and no system, no matter how much you know, is going to take care of all the problems before they come up. Not in this industry.
There are new problems being born right now.
Yes. I've been doing this for a while, but one of the things that really bothers me is when I talk to some agent and they're like, I've been in this business for 20 years and I've never had this happen before. They're like, if you've been in this business for 20 years, the one thing you should know is there's new stuff always happening. This shouldn't surprise you that we're coming up with something different, because every deal is different. There's very few deals that go smoothly from start to finish. We're problem solvers. So don't just assume that it's gonna go the way it's always gone. So something else, don't systematize things you haven't learned yet. I couldn't systematize telling people about Wells Fargo because I hadn't learned it yet. I didn't know that was an issue until it actually came up. So my systems, like most systems, are gonna start out small, and then as I learn things, they get bigger and bigger. Adding in, something for this situation and this situation to make sure that we can avoid, and you could never avoid all pitfalls, because again, new things are happening every deal. But as you're building something, as you're learning, think about what are the things that you're doing over and over again. So again, all of these, but to begin with, lead gen, follow up, setting appointments, going on those appointments, like what do you say, what do you provide to your sellers or your buyers when you sit down with your appointment? Open houses, and it's another big one. How do you handle the open house? Do you, what do you bring? Do you print out an MLS sheet? Do you put together a flyer? What is your system for open houses? So all of those things that you're doing over and over again are great for systems and are probably the first place to think of when you're starting to build something. So if you do something once, learn from it. If you do it twice, document it. If you do it repeatedly, then you systematize it. And there's no magical system that's gonna turn you into a successful agent. Your system has to fit you. So this is another thing that I always talk to people about, like when you're building your system, like I have my systems, but I can't just hand them to you because you don't think the way I do, and so my systems aren't necessarily going to work for you. So you need to figure out what system will work for you and what system will you use. It could be as simple as a checklist on a piece of paper, putting things in your calendar, email templates are great for a lot of things. Using your CRMs usually have reminders, they'll prompt you when it's time to follow up with a client, recurring tasks, spreadsheets. So it doesn't have to be fancy, you just have to be able to use it to repeat everything. Point 3 is to get it out of your head. Your brain should be focused on relationships and decision making. It's not your CRM. You shouldn't be trying to remember every follow-up that you need to make, every phone call you need to make. So if you have a system, it should prompt you for who to follow up with, when to follow up with them, what paperwork you need for a contract or for listing a property, what comes next in a deal, what deadlines are coming up, and anything else you said you would do. Like if you told a client that you would send them a list of houses that are currently on the market, a good system is going to remind you of that, so you don't have to remember it. So just figure out what that is gonna look like and what's gonna work for you. Because again, like the best system is one that you will actually use. The other thing is, it's not just about what you do, it's about what happens when you don't feel like doing it. So it's really easy to wake up in the morning and be like, ugh, I'm supposed to lead generate, but I don't feel like it. It makes it a lot easier if you say, I don't really feel like lead generating, but according to my system, I'm supposed to call these 5 people today. I'll just call through them and then I'll be done. If you don't have to actually think about, who was I gonna call, or what am I gonna do for this, it makes it way easier to actually accomplish what you're trying to achieve. So I don't know I'm not sure what you guys generally do for lead generation, how you go about finding who you're going to call. I don't know if you've heard of the DTD2 system.
Talk about it every Monday.
All right then, perfect. That's a great one. Like Monday rolls around and you're like, who am I supposed to contact this week? Well, DTD2.
And those are
The letter
care
this week.
calls, like that's interaction. Those should not be the things that scare you. You know these people.
Yes. So it just having that system makes it a little bit easier to actually get the task done. And then finally, leverage can help you with some of these other things when you start to feel overwhelmed. And just because you leverage doesn't mean you have to leverage everything. Because early on, you guys are doing it all. Right now, you are the real estate agent. You are also the showing assistant. You are the social media and marketing person. Right?
You're the TC.
You're the TC, doing contracts closed, making sure the paperwork's done, everything gets into compliance. So right now, you're doing everything. As you start working through all of this, you'll learn what exactly you're good at, and then you'll kind of start to figure out what only you guys can do. And then, go ahead.
I kind of wanted to talk about that for a quick second, because if you read the MREA, it talks
Yes.
about building a business, and it talks about leverage. You get to a point where you're hitting your head against the ceiling that you want to break through, And that's when you need to talk about your business and leverage. Sometimes they say, first step, get a showing assistant. Now you can show more people. Next step, get a TC. Part of my value proposition is me on a showing and the house knowledge I have. I can't necessarily farm that out. All of this can't be taught quickly. So I didn't hire a showing assistant when I started to feel growing pains. I went to leverage. It takes me 3 hours to do something it takes Liz an hour to do. That was the smart leverage for me. So don't go and leverage everything because this is your business. Be very intentional about the help you get and who you get it from. I know that I don't have to worry at all about anything that Liz is touching. And it's a wonderful relief, and it enabled me to go get one more listing. I have more listings this year already than I had last year, and it was a busier market. I have leverage now.
and that's part of it is, so you giving up 3 hours for what would take me 1 hour makes a lot of sense. But sometimes even if it would have taken you an hour, but it takes me an hour, but by taking that, getting that hour back, you get to go get a new listing, that makes it perfect. Yeah. So it's not even necessarily that I can do it better or faster or anything like that. It's just about the fact that what is your time best spent doing? And it doesn't mean that you're too important to put things in the MLS. That's not what it's saying at all. It just means that you're protecting your time so you can spend it on what is most important. So, yes, there are things in your business that only you can do. The big ones being building those relationships, having the conversations, negotiating, and being there for your clients. And there are things on this list that absolutely have to get done, but they don't have to be done by you. You don't need to be the one to post the just listed post on social media. You're not the one that has to write the newsletter. Or you don't have to be the one to make sure that the earnest money was deposited and that all the documents are in command. Like all of those you can leverage out. So one of the reasons why I became a transaction coordinator is because I actually enjoy all of those details, the timelines, the paperwork, all of that. I don't. I'm not as good with people, so I'm not as good at picking up clients as you guys are.
Fair.
So this is kind of my niche where I'm good. You guys have yours. There's a reason why you're agents and I'm a TC.
For those of you that were part of the conversation we had about moving from being an entrepreneur to a purposeful business owner, leverage is part of that growth also. Becoming more intentional about how you look at your business and having systems in place. Staff your weaknesses. I love the people. I will do it all day long. I don't do good at sit-down activities. Thank goodness Liz has amazing structures in place and is willing to be there doing that stuff so I can go out and do the things that I like to do. The not sit down stuff.
So, yes, leverage isn't because you failed or because you can't do it. It's because you've decided where your time is just most valuable. So remember, you're in the relationship business, and I just want you guys to know, you're not behind. You're learning a new profession. You're learning how to generate business, how to talk to people. You're learning all of the things. So right now, your job isn't to be an expert. Your job is to keep becoming one, working towards one. And the best way to do that is to figure out how to systematize this business to make sure that you can get the most out of it. So what would be great is to work on building one system today. Start with just one. You don't have to do it all at once. In fact, don't do it all at once. It becomes too confusing. So build one system. So pick one thing that you're doing repeatedly. figure out what it is that you're struggling with, or what you're forgetting, and then think through your day, the way you work, and what tool would help you prevent forgetting it or struggling with it. And figure out how and when are you going to use that. Another example, and may seem simple, but I have recurring reminders on my phone, but then they come to my watch to remind me, like, there's certain things I need to do each day, or the certain things that happen certain days of the week, and so it comes up as a reminder, and then I have to check it off. And so for me, like, checking things off, I don't know if it gives it like a little bit of adrenaline or whatever, like, yeah, like the endorphins.
Sense of accomplishment.
Yes, and so having that, I've discovered having that actually helps me get some of the things done. I mean, obviously I have my system that I can go into and it'll tell me exactly what I need to do for the day. But then being able to go through and like check off, yes, I went through my system, helps with that as well. So, I don't know if you guys are willing to talk or share, like, what would be a system that you would build first?
I guess just like a daily schedule, like the most basic, at the most basic level, I feel like just having a schedule to follow, like that would be something that would really help me.
Like time blocking?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then like, so starting with that, and then kind of like systematizing everything within that schedule, like how, when I'm gonna set aside time to make calls, and like how I'm gonna do that, like what that looks like. I guess starting with the schedule and then going into more detail after that.
I know a lot of you are on the open house journey. There's a bold law, fail fast, fail forward. They have reworked it to make it a little, prettier, but I want it to be perfect. I will build a system in my head that is so amazing, and I'm gonna test it in my brain. I'm not going to do what Liz said. Just get it out, use it, and then figure out what doesn't work and amend it and change. Sometimes you have to get out of your own way, try a system, and then figure out what you need to change about it. When I did an open house, I was like, oh, crap. Got all the way here, forgot the signs that actually have the Saturday or Sunday written on them. Okay, I don't have flyers, but I do have business cards. Ooh, I forgot snacks, but I have water. Getting a bin, getting a checklist, on Wednesday, I make sure the open house is in the MLS. And I post it to social, like developing a system around it, because open houses that are successful don't start 15 minutes before you walk in the door for the open house. It took me a while to build a system that made sense. And I had to drive around that clunky machine and realize this is a pain point that I've got to fix quickly. I want to go and door knock, which means that I need to be either there the day before or early the day of. Day before actually works better for me. I now have to put that into my calendar, because it's not enough to just time block an open house for an hour and a half on Sunday. That's great. I have to do all this other stuff, an hour of activity here, an hour of activity there. I developed a system to kind of make it easier for me to have a high-level open house every single time.
And if that system is only in your head, it becomes a lot easier to forget.
Mm-hmm.
Versus if you can actually get it out somewhere.
I actually made an I did my system broke this weekend because Sunday I had an open house and I realized I didn't plan where I was going to be putting my signs. So I was scrambling like 10 minutes before I was supposed to start trying, so I added that to my list, so maybe I'll find another system to work on.
That's amazing. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah. I mean, and even things you think you'll remember. Like I actually have a checklist for every time we go camping, and like tent and sleeping bags are on the checklist. Like you should never go camping without your tent and your sleeping bags. It feels like that's just like a no-brainer, but they're on there, so I don't forget them. Like so I can just go through and feel confident that I haven't forgotten
camping 2 weekends ago for her birthday, and she brought no pillows, no blankets. So
Pillow is actually one that I probably would forget if it wasn't on my checklist. For whatever reason, I don't know, but yeah. So yeah.
Yeah, that's why you have a backpack. Use your backpack as a pillow. I've done that a few times, forgetting pillows at camping.
Yeah. Yep. So.
If someone, so I heard David, thank you for sharing, like where you're like, I kind of need to get to my schedule. And I can help you, we can talk that through,
Okay.
what that looks like, cause we, Gary's like, 3 hours a day. Ooh, what does that really look like? Some days it's really easy, sometimes it's not. So, kind of having a little bit more of a structure on it, I can, definitely, we
Okay.
can work on that. Getting it out of your head and onto paper. David will hear me, this is the second time he's heard me say this today. Out of your head, just sharing it, writing it down, 35% more likely to happen. When you write it down and you bring somebody along for the accountability part, hey, Kelly, check in with me in a week because I'm writing a new system around open houses and I want to review it with you. Now you're 76% more likely for that to happen. Why wouldn't you write everything down, and why wouldn't you bring an accountability partner? If that increases your success to, what is that, a C average now? My gosh, why wouldn't you do that? Build a system that works. Does anyone else see a pain point that maybe they need a structure around? How are we doing on follow-up? Follow-up is a hard one. Liz, what would your recommendation be?
Whatever system you will use to begin with.
That's true.
So all of you have access to Command, which is a CRM, so a customer relationship manager. So you can put clients in there, you can put reminders in there to call them back. So that is always an option. I use a spreadsheet myself. Just because I like to be able to see everyone listed. So I have a spreadsheet and it tells me like the next day I need to follow up, and I actually have it set so that if that is today or previously, that box will turn red. So I know exactly who I need to be following up with. So that's the way I've chosen to do it. You could also just put it in your calendar. If you talk to someone and you're like, yeah, I'll call you back in 2 weeks, put it on your calendar to call them back.
That you can set tasks inside Command.
Yes.
Command is a CRM that will give what you put into it. You could use it. There's a way that you can enter into a transaction that will send you tasks of, did you send the utility information?
Yes. Yeah. It's all the option is there. Command will do a lot of what you want to do. It's just then a matter of, will you log into Command every day to see what your tasks are? So
Put it in your calendar to log into Command.
so for me, like, I follow up with people in my pipeline on Monday. So it is a calendar event on Mondays that shows up. I also have a task that comes up on my watch telling me to go through my pipeline, talk to everyone who needs to be talked to. So even as systematized as I am, I have multiple layers all helping, reminding me to do this. In part because probably like you guys, like lead generation is not something I particularly want to do. So I need extra reasons to do it.
Does anyone have any questions for Liz?
Are you still doing is this our little sample of the office hour, or are we still looking into doing that soon?
Yes, office hours will be beginning in September. I am 90% sure they will be Thursdays at 10. I'm thinking the second Thursday of the month will be here in Woodmere, the third Thursday will be in Lakewood, and the fourth Thursday will be on Zoom. So, and once that is 100% set, then I don't know if I'll send something out or if the office will send it out on the training calendar, but yes. So during that, yeah, anything you want, like if you you want help with dot loop or command.
I
or-
want to see that spreadsheet because I'm also a spreadsheet
Yeah,
person.
me too, yeah, I agree.
You see, and I'm over here going, oh my god, spreadsheet. I don't even know if I could do
Kaylee, I'm like, I vomit at the thought of using my calendar sometimes, because my life has been entirely on the fly for probably 10 years. And my dad's like, why don't you ever make a schedule? Because Dad, if it rains and pours, I can't work outside. I have to push that back the whole day. And then everybody's pushed back basically a week by me using the whole day. I don't know how it happens, but it just happens that way. So yes, using a calendar is probably the first thing for me. I just got everything synced, so I'm like, seeing
And
all the stuff.
honestly, like, you have to plan for it. Like, it should be in your calendar that there is a sales meeting on Tuesdays at 9:30. Now, I double check to see if it's a virtual or an in-person, and I schedule my day accordingly, because if it's virtual, I can be in Kent and still make the meeting. If it's in person, I gotta get here. You know, so I can play it around it. That's always in my calendar. Obviously, Wednesday mornings group coaching is always in my calendar. And you do the other things around it. Put the things that are, and the other part, put the things that are truly important. Family dinner. Also this, yes, but God, family, business. Whatever your God is, whatever your family is, they still come before your business. So, there's definitely something in my calendar this week that says, see Cameron. If she's one of my big reasons why wouldn't I also make sure that there's time in my calendar to spend with that human of mine? You know, so put that stuff in there also.
The personal stuff should actually go in there first, and then your business stuff should go in around it. You're welcome.
That's a foreign concept.
Well, this is a growth
So, I
space.
mean-
We've got
That's
this.
where we're going,
So,
moving intentionally here.
yeah, so when it comes to, I mean, well,
Everybody
So
get a
I have-
picture of Liz's info too.
I have a 10-year-old and a 12-year-old, so now that they're getting older, like, there's more activities for them. So we've gone to the digital calendar because my husband and I can share it and we can both add things and see what's going on. But then every morning, when I sit down at my computer, I pull up my calendar, see what's going on for the day, and actually, I then write it on, like, in my agenda too, for the day. So it, like, reinforces in my head everything that's going on. So it's not, this used to be a paper one, but then,
Gotta like that.
it was, I was carrying around a notebook, an agenda, and a Kindle. All together. Yeah, so a couple years ago, I bought this, so now it just, all of it is in this one thing, but, like, so again, that's the system that I've discovered that works, is my husband and I both add things to the calendar, and then every day I sit down and I look at it, and I write it out. By hand, I write it out so that it, like, reinforces it in my brain.
A pro tip from me, and I feel Liz probably does something similar, just to keep things moving, even if Sunday is my day off, whatever I tell myself, you know, even if that's what I'm thinking it is, it really only takes about 5 minutes to look at the week that is coming up and make sure that everything that I thought I could do is still going to happen. And then plan for that. To your point, how do I know where to start with calling? If we start with the DTD2 and we have them in command or a spreadsheet, we can pull it and that list is right there in front of us. We can go to our phone. We can do that. So having little systems around, but planning ahead and knowing that, okay, I am going to be making a whole bunch of care calls, and I know on Wednesdays my energy sometimes dips. I'm gonna do all of my DTD2 on Thursday, because these are care calls and fun, and I love these people and they love me, and I'm gonna go ahead and really, Thursday is the day that I'm gonna be talking to these people. What other lead gen do I need to plump it in? So look at that calendar, evaluate it, and help use it to truly plan for your success. Know what you're doing the next day before you go to sleep at a bare minimum.
And it's okay if you have to completely toss out whatever you're doing and start from scratch.
Yep.
When I was on the team, I worked with the Rainmaker to, and even he had issues with his lead gen. Like, it was on his calendar, he knew what he needed to do, but sometimes just getting it done. So, like, we tried going into the CRM and tagging everybody for the week who needed to be, and he's like, yeah, I'll just go in there and I'll look at him and I'll call through. Didn't work. So I actually then went and I would pull everybody he needed to call that week, and I would print out their name, print out their phone number, so if it wasn't in his phone, he didn't even have to go searching for it, print out a place for him to put notes in, and then I could put them in the CRM afterwards. That didn't work either. Like, so we just had to keep going until we never actually figured out what worked for him, unfortunately.
That's what I was getting ready to ask, was what ended up working.
Nothing. Unfortunately, nothing. I mean,
Mhm.
but we didn't give up. We tried another thing and another thing to try and figure out what would actually get us to do it. So, and lead generation is hard.
And back to what we spoke of earlier, having diversity in where you find your business keeps you from getting worn down by the grind of doing the job to build the life that we said we wanted. How incredibly fortunate we are to be complaining about doing a part of the job for the life that we really want. Like, it's just, so having the ability to show up in the community, you're like, okay, you know what, at least I don't have to pick up the phone today, because today is the day that I'm going to be out in the community doing office hours. I've got 20 cards in my pocket, I'm making sure everybody's got one, and I'm gonna post about it, I'm gonna build about it. This will be my lead gen today. Tomorrow, I'm gonna call the DTD2. It's just, you know what, on Thursday, I was at a training and there were all these people in the room, and I'm gonna reach out to all of them and ask them what their top key takeaway from the training was. Sometimes you have to have a plan, or else you lose the day formulating the plan in the moment.
Because when you don't have to think about it, it makes it easier to do.
Yep. Does anyone have any other questions, comments, problems to solve?
I guess what type of events do you guys go to do that in-person lead gen? Just look on Facebook for like events
Yes.
going on today?
That is one thing. I'm a service leader, so I am on boards and a huge volunteer for my community.
What things are you already going to? Like, are you involved in any?
I'm gonna
Sports
you
or
know what I'm gonna
activities?
tell you.
Yeah.
Get
Or
your
toddler
picture
stuff,
and your number on the back of your toddler's onesie and get him into play groups.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
like things like that. Like if you attend a house of worship, like meeting people there, like think about what you're already doing, and how you can use that to your benefit. There was a story I heard years ago about a woman who played tennis, and I think she just had some friends and they would meet at the tennis courts and play tennis. But she started like sponsoring those events, like inviting a few more people, and she'd provide like branded water bottles, and at some point like she got a sign that she would, put up and everything like that, and it kind of just got a little bit bigger and a little bit bigger. And that's where she did most of her lead gen, was playing tennis with her friends. So it doesn't have to be tedious. Like, where are you already meeting people?
Those people will want to support you for sure. The gentleman was talking about his gym, hosting an event at his gym. That's where he gets like 90% of his clients. So yeah, it's pretty good. So
Yeah.
generally the places you have the most face time are where people will support you the most. And yeah, any community event I go to now, I'm just kind of casually mentioning, like, oh hey, just let me know if you don't have an agent. I'm an agent, whatever. And it doesn't matter who I'm talking to. There was a stranger I was dumping trash next to this morning in my city. And I'm talking to her like, oh yeah, you're replacing your floors. She's throwing out a bunch of LTV. Like, you like hardwood, don't you? Sweet. I'm not a fan of hardwood too. Everyone's doing LTV. Hey, I'm a realtor, by the way. Do you have an agent? No, I don't. I mean, that's a dumb. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Meet somebody at the dump, you know, just start chatting it up with whoever will listen to you.
Oh, you see a dumpster in your neighborhood? This is what the conversation looks like.
Mm-hmm.
I noticed that there's a dumpster in your front yard. You see me in the neighborhood. I'm Kelly. How are you? Like, what's getting ready to happen? I'm just so excited. Like, is it a new roof? Is it a floor? Is it a kitchen?
We figured we needed to replace the
It's so
carpet.
nosy.
Who are you
neighbor.
using?
Like, it works, man. People wanna talk. They just
Shannon Fowles.
You know, I've heard of her. If you don't mind, I'm gonna swing back in a couple of days and ask how it went. I am always building referrals, and I'd rather like actually see people doing the job and hear from the person that the job was done. Would that be all right with you?
Yeah.
Here's my card. Thank you so much. Wow, that was really painful, wasn't it?
I can't tell you how many times I've had dumpster conversations because we do a ton of rentals and the neighbors always want to know what's going on. Hey, what's happening? What's going on over here? Even if they're just being nosy, you just talk to them and then it's like, oh, hey, do you need someone to do your kitchen? Like, I've got a guy, he's great.
Mm-hmm.
And then that guy goes and does their kitchen.
Yeah.
It's about just always kind of doubling down. And like walking up to a complete stranger in your own neighborhood, like there was no script and I didn't know I was gonna do that, and poor Liz played along and she didn't know I was gonna do that either. But I just got out of my own way. I mean, she's not gonna hit me. Well, maybe, I don't know, but like, but that's what that looks like. I saw a dumpster in my neighborhood.
Yeah.
You know, like have a conversation. I'm interested because I want to help other people. I'm not even asking her for business. I'm letting her know how much I care about the people I'm in a relationship with. You know, again, there's just a different way to have that conversation. Daniel is working, he's kind of working more on, he wants to be a part of the community and build outward. It's a wonderfully heart-centered game. It's a long game. It is. Like I didn't go volunteer one day at Oktoberfest and be like, I'm literally here in Lederhosen and I got no business. That's not how that worked. I continued to show up at Oktoberfest and downtown and at the farmer's market. And then people were like, wait a minute, weren't you in a Lederhosen? Didn't I see you at a dirndl this year? Yes, you did. You just showing up in the places that you enjoy being anyways, and taking up a little bit of space.
It's consistency.
Yeah. And I, every Friday, go to the same local coffee shop. And now, people meet me there. They're like, can we meet on Friday at your office hours? This coffee shop is hosting my office hours every day.
Yeah.
It's my feet walking in, their sign, and then they cross-post it. And now I've got all these followers that think I love coffee because I am at Scribbles Coffee at 7:30 every Friday morning. But it's consistent, and I have had complete strangers walk right to me and say, I know that this is your office hours and I'm looking for a realtor. And I found him a house. I found him a house, and because I stayed in contact with him and plugged him into stuff, he introduced me to two people he works with from Kent State, who introduced me to two people that works at Kent State, who introduced me to two
That's where the
people.
referrals come in.
Yeah. And it just becomes, momentum is an amazing thing. It's a lot harder to slow you down once you've started. So get started. Use the systems. Talk to people that are doing similar things. Get ideas. None of us have it. I mean, I'm not the only person that thought this is a great idea. I'm going to tap into my community for real estate.
Yeah.
I just picked a way that felt really comfortable for me. So when it is hard to cold call people that I haven't talked to, they ghosted me a year ago and the search ended. When that's hard, at least I also know that for some time, lead generation means that I just get to be out in the community talking to people. It's about balance.
Yeah. Just be authentic and
Yeah. Just be yourself. It's a lot easier. I mean, it just truly is, because you're the business. You're who they want. They want the Kelly experience. They want the Daniel experience. They want the David experience. We're all different, all doing the same job. So, yay, Liz, thank you so much for coming today.
if you guys have questions too or want to bounce anything off me as you're building stuff, just let me know.